Mario 64 usually takes, of course depending on the player, more or less 15 to 25 hours to complete. And then there are players like Suigi, who complete this game in 6 minutes and 40 seconds. What the fuck? At first glance, speedrunning looks like chaos. Characters flying through levels at impossible speeds, walls are ignored, rules seems to be optional, and the stories are skipped without mercy. At sometimes, it can feel almost disrespectful to the game itself. But speedruns are much more. They're about precision, discipline, repetition, and above all, intention. Speedrunning is the act of completing a game as fast as possible. The definition is simple, but what hides underneath is way deeper. It's about transformation and exploring of what a game can be. In speedrunning, a game stops being a narrative or a challenge designed by developers, and it becomes a system to be understood, to be optimized and eventually mastered. The finishing line matters more than the journey, yet paradoxically, the journey is repeated hundreds of times. Time is your true opponent, not enemies, not bosses, not puzzles, just time. Every single second lost feels heavier than every failed boss fight could ever do. And because of that, speedrunning changes the relationship between players and the game. You are no longer reacting, you are predicting, and you are no longer discovering, you are executing. Every single button press has to be perfect. The smallest mistake, measured in milliseconds, can be enough to force speedrunners to do a complete restart. Those challenges didn't appear overnight. Long before streaming platforms and global leaderboards, players were already fascinating by speed. In the early 90s, the game Doom quietly planted the seed. Players began recording their fastest completions and sharing them online in small data files called demos. There was no fame attached to this, no audience, just a question that kept returning. Can this be done even faster? Without knowing it, they opened a door for a culture where playing well was no longer enough. Playing efficiently became a new goal. From there, speedrunning slowly evolved alongside games themselves. And as games and consoles became more complex, so did also the runs. Some games resisted speedrunners, tightly controlling movement and progression. Others welcomed them, unintentionally of course. Over time, certain titles became landmarks within the community. One of the most famous is Super Mario 64. On the surface, it's joyful but simple. But beneath that simplicity lies a movement system, so flexible that it almost feels alive. Speedrunners discovered that Mario could be pushed beyond his apparent limits. Jumps could be angled just right, momentum could be preserved in ways never explained by the game. The world itself began to bend, not because it was broken, but because it allowed itself to be understood. Another legendary game is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. A game remembered for its story, its atmosphere and its emotional weight. And yet, in speedrunning, the story dissolves, temples are skipped, items are obtained out of order. The hero's journey is reduced to a sequence of inputs and timings. The same game is seen through different lenses. This is where speedrunning becomes more than just fast gameplay. It becomes a conversation with the game design. Speedrunners ask questions that most players would never do. What happens if I stand here? What if I turn the camera in this exact angle? What if I interrupt this animation at the perfect frame? And when the game responds in unexpected ways, they are studied. Glitches also play a central role in this process. A glitch is often described as the error, but in speedrunning, it's closer to a discovery. It reveals how a game truly works beneath the surface. Learning a speedrun is rarely glamorous. It involves repetition that from the outside looks like obsession. The same movement practiced over and over again. The same mistake corrected frame by frame. Many runs fail before they even reach the halfway point. Speedrunners return. They reset the timer and try again. Communities form around this and share their struggles. And knowledge is passed down. Platforms like speedrun.com exist not just to display records, but also to document human effort. Every world record represents countless unseen attempts, moments of frustration and brief flashes of perfection. And the times on speedrun.com are absolutely ridiculous. Just go there and research your favorite game. It's completely crazy. In a world where much of life feels inefficiently and uncontrollable, speedrunning offers a rare sense of order. A space where effort directly translates into improvement, where lost time can be measured, analyzed and reclaimed. That clarity is powerful. Speedrunning is not about ruining games, it's about loving them so much that you take them apart, to look inside, to ask how far they can go. And sometimes, in doing so, speedrunners remind us that limits are rarely fixed, they're often just waiting there to be questioned. In the end, speedrunning is not a race against the game, it's a race against the player, against hesitation, against imperfection, and that may be why it continues to grow. My name is Miguel Costa, thank you a lot for your attention. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, I would highly appreciate if you leave a like or even a follow. And see you guys on my next video.